welcome to the show. This is Ted Talks Too Much. And we've got another great one for you today. I'm Ted Moss, ex-sidewalk sweeper, stand-up comedian, and your host. We are located in the OK Boomer Studios just outside of Flint, Michigan. That's right, Flint. Michigan's water wonderland, where they are still wondering when they'll get some clean water. But while we all wait for that to happen, let's talk. And on today's show, we've got part 2 with Mr. Mitch Gill. That's right, we interrupted our regularly scheduled program to bring in Bill Bouchard. Now we're back with Mitch. We're going to be talking about his career path in radio, accents, Ben Bailey, writing comedy, and much, much more. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Okay, guys, before today's show, I was going to do a straight-up commercial for TedTalksTooMuch.com, where you can find all my shows. You also can follow me on Instagram at TedTalksTooMuch and see all the previews of the shows. But really, I want to ask for a favor. I put together a dream guest list. If anybody can help me out getting interviews with these people, I'd appreciate it. Number 1 is Mr. Tim Allen. He attended Western Michigan University at the exact same time I did. And wouldn't you just love to hear about his journey? How about Joe Rogan? What a fascinating guy. Or Howard Stern. No matter what you think about Howard, he was a master of marketing his show. And some people don't understand that. And also has unreal interviewing skills. Elizabeth Shue, I gotta admit, she's the only one that would make me nervous, because I've been a fan since her Burger King commercial days. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Or there's a couple local musicians, like, how about Bob Seger? What a cool poet, musician. Ted Nugent and Kid Rock. That'd be a cool interview. So, in any case, I want to thank you for listening to the show. Help me out if you can, and like always, if you laugh out loud, please share it with some friends. I'd appreciate that. With that, let's get back to the show. All right, let's get this thing going. On today's show, you're going to hear all about a career path in radio, accents, Ben Bailey, writing stand-up comedy, a little bit about the old chat rooms, something on lifestyles, and how to travel to Chicago with only $5 in your pocket. For all that, let's welcome back to the studio my good buddy, Mr. Mitch Gill. So, in any case, you were doing radio.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Eric Walensky's podcast. I listened to it yesterday. I binge listened.
And it's called?
I have to remember it. Everything, Nothing.
I'm going to call you Mitch Plug a Show Gill. How many shows are we going to plug, Mitch?
Oh yeah, we did plug a few, didn't we?
Yeah. We're plugging diets and videos and shows and anything else you want to plug. You're like a radio guy. How much can I plug in 3 minutes? You know, this is a long format. You have lots of time.
You invited me here, and I'll try to remember it. Anyhow,
we'll advertise to 180,000 people.
Yeah, you can edit that. So yeah, I was on radio. How's that for an edit? That's perfect. Right?
That's what you do.
I dropped you a blank.
You did, and then you came back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I interned. So you can cut out the whole last 30 minutes.
I know. I probably will. I'm gonna cut out the whole vegan thing.
Yeah. So they let me intern. Oh, you bastard. So they let me intern. Then they gave me one night a week on WNMB, The Sound of the Beach. And
while interning, did you do any microphone time? Did you do any speaking or any advertisements, commercials, ads? Didn't build anything?
I went in the bathroom, the production room, and played. and would make just goofy stuff on
Fake
on
stuff?
my put on a country song or some sort of production music and talk like a Miller Beer commercial. And just have fun like that.
Yeah.
And then they gave me one night a week. And then it was 2 nights a week, and then 3 nights a week, and then there was a rock station that came out. I thought, I want to go there, and they'll pay me less, and I'll drive 45 minutes farther. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So I took that job and wound up working 5 nights a week. Then I took a different.
What was the theme or the feel of your show? Was it like, here we go with the rock and roll, and was that kind of
just straightforward. What I'm doing right now. I did not try to do anything special.
You weren't being a hype man for the for the songs or anything like that?
Straightforward. They like me down in South Carolina because I have a straightforward, Midwestern, clean voice. Yeah. If I could get through reading
They like that in South Carolina?
They love it. They love it. Actually, Stephen Colbert is from South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No.
And he swore to himself as a child, I will not sound like these people. I will not sound Southern. I will sound like I am from the Midwest. And that's what he did.
That's weird. Why would people want to sound like they're from the Midwest?
Because it's nondescript and it's acceptable worldwide. But then down south, they would say, you're a Yankee.
Yeah, they do.
You're from up north.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, yes, I am. And I'm proud of it.
You know what? I used to talk to the girls down outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Hot Atlanta.
And they all had these Southern accents.
Oh, yeah.
Sounded so sweet on the phone. And I mean, I had a girl I talked to daily for an hour calling in orders. This is before fax machines, long going far away. Mm-hmm. And she had just this cute Southern accent. And in my mind, she's just this gorgeous babe. Mm-hmm. And all those girls with their Southern accents were just so charming. And eventually you go down and meet him and go, not so charming.
Yeah, you got Frito dust on your shirt there, honey.
But the interesting thing, after I got to know her, we talked about me being a Yankee.
Yep.
And there was a prejudice against Northerners.
Oh, yeah.
That was commonplace amongst her and the people she grew up with. And she said, well, you guys feel the same way about Southerners. And I said, it doesn't even come up. No. It's not even a topic of conversation. I don't think anything about Southerners other than they talk with a Southern accent, which I think is kind of cute.
Yeah.
But we aren't raised with any kind of prejudice, demeaning, or any feeling about Southerners whatsoever. We're totally indifferent to it.
Exactly. Our rednecks are from Walled Lake.
Yeah.
Also known as Walled Tucky.
Yeah, no, people always put Tucky on the back of words when they want to be.
It's just to make it sound Southern.
Well, they say Bert and
It's just mean.
Bert Tucky, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bert and Tucky, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I won't name names, but one of the comedians at the show last week, first comedy show in a long time, he went up and was trying to do a little crowd work in Burton and referred to it as Bert Tucky. And I thought, you're insulting the crowd. Yeah. That's probably a bad move.
I would have talked about being lucky enough to do a show in Burton.
Yeah, Burton. You know, my kids drop their T's.
What are you waiting on? I'm waiting to go on in Burton.
All the kids do that.
I go to the beach and I go waiting in the water.
Well, this is, all the lakes in Fenton, all the kids are going Fenton.
Fenton.
Where are you from, Fenton?
What are you taking? Fentanyl.
I'm taking all the fentanyl.
All the fentanyl.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, but I like Southern accents. You know, my daughter, who has lived all around the world now, she lived in London, England. She lives out in Seattle now. And she talks about the Midwestern accent. And she points out certain words that Midwesterners say that are different.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's interesting.
But I don't know it. I don't understand
like real hardcore Michigan. I have a friend, Glennie. She lives in Lapeer.
Yeah.
Originally from Brown City.
Yeah.
And I worked with her in flooring. And she would say, oh, my God, Mitch Gill, that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Isn't that great?
Yes, that is great.
That's so hardcore Michigan.
Yeah. Well, if you get up in the UP and you start going west, all of a sudden you start sounding a little like Minnesota.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Minnesotan.
Yeah, you can get up into that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so got onto the rock station for about a year and a half. Then we were sold, and everybody was fired. And I thought, wow, radio is dark and dirty.
Hold it, now,
and I was
were you
right.
a country station before the rock station?
No, I was adult contemporary.
Okay, now rock station.
Now
okay, everybody's
rock.
fired, and...
Yep. And then that was very harsh. Couldn't handle that. Then I went to Sunny 106.5, The Beaches, Sensational FM.
Where the hell was that?
That was in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, and that was a kind of a adult contemporary top 40-ish station.
Did you get to play whatever you wanted?
They're pretty close.
You have to record every minute, what you play every minute on radio, don't you?
Only a few times a year when we did the BMI, which was you had to record every
BMI?
song. Yeah, the
Body Mass Index?
Yeah, exactly, for radio. and I don't remember what it was, but anyhow, you'd have to record that for a couple days. But so I did that for a while. That was interesting. Didn't have a program director for a while, and I was kind of running the ship.
You could just do whatever.
And making all the commercials, yeah.
Well, did they say, did you know that you have to break every 7 minutes for a commercial? Or, I mean, there's got to be, you have to have some kind of schedule, I would think.
Yeah, the office ladies took care of the log, which gave us the commercials that we had to run, but the music in between, that was really weird, that station.
Yeah? Yeah,
the owner, this is going to get dark.
Okay.
The owner, Bob.
Meat eater.
Oh, he was like a minotaur, like a troll, man. He was weird, and he was a sweaty, ugly dude. And he would have to call New York to get more money because we were hemorrhaging. We were losing money so bad, so fast at this radio station.
Were they paying you too much? I mean, how did they lose money?
Pretty sure it was Stewart in New York. It was this guy who drove a Jaguar in his super starched shirts. He would come down. And he would have to ask Stewart for more money, and he would kick the garbage can in his office and scream and yell that we weren't making any money. And then to find out, Bob and Stewart had a relationship. And they would get it on in his office.
For money.
I don't know what. What? Luckily, I had left there and went to work at the country station. Y103, the Grand Strand's 12 in a row station. And that was better. I had middays, and it was a very good station.
Yeah.
Very good position. Horrible money, making $12,000 a year.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What year is this?
1990.
Dude. You can't live on $12,000 a year. What are you working, 2 hours a day?
Oh, no. I had the midday position. I had a very good...
They can pay people? What is it? People are just in it for the glory?
Then, I went into my boss's office, Gary, and I said to him, Gary, I need $15,000 a year. Almost made you spit your iced tea.
Yeah. 15 grand.
15 grand.
How dare you think you're worth 15 grand?
Got up and he walked around his desk. He walked right up to me and looked me square in the eye and he said, Mitch Gill, you're not worth $15,000 a year. I turned around, I walked out, I walked back down the hallway and I said, I quit. I'm going back to Michigan. I'm going to live with my mom and dad and look for a real job in radio. And I did.
You should have done this in the middle of a show, though.
And I went back to Michigan, to Auburn Hills, and I found a job at a smooth jazz station, WXMX, in East Lansing. And I got a job making I think $27,000 a year.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It was much better. And I was the morning host. And
that's still not a lot of money, but it's a lot. You can't, how do you live on 12 grand?
It was great. And then my wage went up, and then I wound up, we were purchased and everybody was fired in a year and a half. And I thought radio is really kind of stupid. And then I got a job in Lapeer and worked my last 4 years there. And that was the end of radio.
It seems to me that the radio format, as well as the television format, is dead. It's a thing of the past. It's a thing of the 50s. You know, the weird thing about radio is people turn them on and turn them off. So if you hop in the car, you turn your radio on, which means you got to remind people every so often of what radio station they're listening to and what show they're listening to. It's not like in the middle of this podcast, I have to say, well, you're listening to TED Talks Too Much. I mean, people know this is long format. Yeah. But radio is very short format. Everything has to fit into 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's cyclical.
You got to listen to the commercials.
Yes.
Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still listen to the Free Beer and Hot Wings show on Banana 101.5.
Yeah.
You could be, you could pay money and become a smart listener or whatever and hear their show without commercials.
Yeah.
Podcast style. But I still listen in the morning before work. And I still listen to public radio, but I'm old.
Yeah, yeah.
And young people don't do that.
Yeah, I know a beautiful girl that just got a job at a radio station, and she's really happy about that. She had been co-hosting with a pretty big name, and she's got her own radio show now. And I thought, you're jumping on a ship that's sinking. I mean, I know you work for it.
But is her show also on the internet?
I don't know. But even if it's on the internet, if they got to throw in all those commercials, nobody's going to listen to it. You know, my theory is, and I'm not sure I'm right about this, but I think people listen or gather entertainment one of two ways. Either very short format, means I'm going to watch YouTube and I'm going to watch something that's 30 seconds to 2 minutes long, you know, preferably not over 3 minutes long, or I'm going to do something like a podcast that I can listen to while I'm driving or while I'm mowing the lawn or while I'm working out or riding my bike. That's long format. And I don't want to listen to any commercials. You know, once Joe Rogan or whoever starts, I want to listen to this thing for hours. Yeah. And I even watch YouTube things that go on for hours. Yeah. I mean, I'll watch a 2-hour YouTube something. But the nice thing about podcast is that you can
pause it.
Not only pause it, but you can do something else. It only takes your ears. Yeah. I mean, I can be, you know, working in the yard or doing something I enjoy and have this going on too. And I think those are the new formats. This old format where it took all your attention, you had to focus right on it. And by the way, we're going to break away every 7.5 minutes to feed you 3 minutes of commercials. People don't have to do that anymore. No. That's why people are not, I mean, I don't watch regular TV anymore. I don't listen to regular radio anymore.
Yeah, I watch Netflix too much advertising. And Hulu.
Yeah.
And then I also like the smart TV. Have you noticed that the channels and streams that come with your TV? It's built right in and it's got a whole selection of channels. It's so weird. It's like Fail Army. Do you have that on your smart TV?
I don't know if I have that.
I have Fail Army.
What is Fail Army?
24-hour fails. It's people fucking up. It's forklifts tipping over at Home Depots. Yeah. It's people falling out of second-story windows with the couch.
But I'll bet you all those things are 3 minutes or less. I'll bet they're 30 seconds to 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It's a short attention span theater completely that just grabs you. But I will, if I watch a half-hour show and I only have 15 minutes to go to bed, I'll just put it back on Fail Army and I'll watch fails and watch people fall down and hurt themselves.
The other thing that's interesting, have you watched TikTok at all?
No.
Do you know what TikTok is?
No, but I just discovered Pinterest yesterday as I touched my nipples because that was unbelievable.
What did you like about Pinterest?
It's bottomless.
It's
whatever. It's like right now I've been into campers and I want to build my own 12, 13 foot camper. I want to build an actual camper.
Why?
Because I want to.
Because you want to build it or because you want to go camping?
I'm both.
Well, see, I think it'd be a great project. I think it'd be very rewarding to do it. I think that'd be a lot of fun and interesting. But at the end of the day, if you have to take this thing and go camping, I have zero interest in camping.
How much camping am I going to do? Probably not a lot, Ted.
Yeah.
But I might wind up selling it, and then maybe I build another one.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Maybe that would be a thing.
What? I have an RV that I'd like to renovate. How about that?
No. I want to build one. I want to build one on a trailer. I want to find an old piece of shit.
Why? This wouldn't cost you anything.
Matter
of fact, you get paid to do it.
Yeah, no. It's got to be for me. I'm not going to...
You could make it like for you. You could use it too.
Yeah. It's not the one that Billy was in, is it?
Yeah.
I don't want to touch that. I love you, Billy. I'm just fucking with you.
No, actually, there's some things I got to do. My RV needs some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. They make those things. They're shit, man. They're pieces of shit. They sell them for $250,000, $300,000.
Oh yeah.
And they're crap furniture, and they're chintzy, cheesy paneling and stuff. Yeah. It's the cheapest shit you can imagine.
Yeah.
And they sell it for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Well, they're
out of their
freaking
mind.
They're also going for lightweight, and
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, take a panel off, see what's behind it.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah.
Even the construction's shit. How they glue them together, the wasted space, everything, mechanically it's shit.
And that's another reason why I want to build my own, is I want to lay it out exactly the way I want it, and I just want to, it just sounds like a fun thing for me to do someday.
Yeah.
And after I get out of my current house and I get another house, that's when I'll get that trailer.
What's this going to cost you?
What, the trailer?
To build it. Yeah, the whole project.
Very little, because I'm going to buy a trailer for probably $200 or $300, and then the rest I will probably scavenge wood, because I'm a real recycler, and I'll just.
They're building a house next door and throwing out wood all the time, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Find stuff. I find more
I feel like
materials.
I should have the theme song of Sanford and Son.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know I did that in my stand-up comedy one time?
Did you?
I actually, at the time, I was trying to find my comedy voice. And since I grew up in the hood, I lived in the ghetto of Flint.
What street?
Stevens Street, downtown Flint.
Stevens Street. What's the nearest cross section?
Well, now there's an expressway there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Saginaw Street, downtown. I was 3 blocks off downtown Saginaw Street.
Yeah, that's where I sold carpet. Was in
First
Flint.
Avenue.
I was all over Flint in gross little houses measuring for carpet.
My apartment down there cost $25 a week. $2.57 a day separated me from being homeless.
Wow.
I had a bed, a chair. I had a kitchen that was probably 3 feet by 4 feet with a stove top and a very small refrigerator, a toilet and a sink in what would be called a closet that couldn't have been any more than 4 feet by 4 feet. Did not have a shower.
Oh.
The shower was non-existent, but there was a bathtub out in the hallway in a closet without a shower attachment. So you actually had to sit down on this thing. Now, my neighbors, I had...
Did you use a bucket to pour over your head?
I had an alcoholic living across the hall, a guy who got out of prison after 20 years, so he's probably in for murder, living downstairs, and a lady that they actually took away to an insane asylum below me, and we all shared the same bathtub.
That's a sitcom that was on the WB.
No, and actually, I remember, because I worked asphalt, I had to take a bath every day. I mean, I had to come home and get cleaned up after work. I was just filthy and sweaty. And I remember sitting in that bathtub with my ass suctioned to the bottom of that tub, thinking, I'm kind of ass French kissing all my neighbors right now, because they're all sitting in this exact same spot.
So in the blacktop business, that was your lot in life.
Yeah. I used to hitchhike to work to shovel asphalt. I was poor, dude. I was paying my way through college. And then when I wasn't at college, I was home living in the ghetto, working asphalt, trying to save up enough money to go back to college so I didn't have to go to Vietnam.
You did very good.
Well, I did good. But in any case, my point is, I used Sanford and Son's theme because I had grown up in a pretty ghetto place. Mm-hmm. And even though I don't sound like it, that's kind of my background. So I thought that'd be my voice, a unique older white guy that looks like he came from the suburbs, that really came from kind of this ghetto place. And so I came out with a harmonica and played at the beginning of my set.
Wait, actually played it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did the whole Sanford. Unfortunately, I fouled a heavyset black girl who was really from Detroit. who came out and did all her inner city Detroit jokes right in front of me, in front of this crowd that was probably half black. They weren't buying it at all.
Oh my God.
I know. I couldn't pull it off. So
I should have said, you know what? Let's start over. Let me do Green Acres.
Yeah, so I was trying to find my voice.
See, that would take rich to poor.
Yeah, with
the Green Acres thing.
Yeah, the interesting thing about living downtown Flint is that I really had a lot of freedom to do whatever I wanted and wasn't limited by anything other than money. Mm-hmm. And I remember my first trip ever to Chicago. I got rained out on a Friday from asphalt, and so I hitchhiked back home. And the rule of hitchhiking, have you ever hitchhiked?
I don't think I ever have.
The rule of hitchhiking is you become whoever they want you to be once you get in the car. You're getting a free ride. You aren't paying for the gas or the car or the insurance. You try to agree with whatever they say. If they're right wing, you're right wing. If they're left wing, you're left wing. If they're upset about the road construction, you're upset about that. I mean, you be what. Now, I have gotten in a car and thought, well, this guy has well maintained hair and is dressed really neat. And as the ride went along, he got gayer. And I thought, nah, I'm getting too gay.
Did you ever say, who's your daddy? And you said, well, apparently you are.
Yeah. No, I did have a guy grab me at one time when I was trying to get out of the car.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, I'm not that gay.
No.
Thanks for the ride, though.
Yeah, hitchhiking is very questionable.
But I hitchhiked to Chicago. I didn't know anybody in Chicago except a girl that went to United Airlines stewardess school. Most beautiful girl I've ever met in my life. Julie Teresa Maria Dulesky out of Muskegon, Michigan.
Wow.
Gorgeous, beautiful eyes. So intimidating that nobody at the bar would ask her to dance. I did. Fell in love instantly.
4 names.
Well, she's Catholic. You know, you pick up another one when you're Catholic. That's the way that shit goes. So I hitchhiked to see her at United Airlines stewardess school. Then I heard it was in Chicago. So I just went out with a sign that said, please on one side, Chicago on the other, $5 in my pocket, and hitchhiked to Chicago.
What was your time? How long did it take you to get there?
It takes double. So it's like 4.5 hours to drive. So it's about 9 hours to hitchhike. It's always about double. And I got there.
I've picked up hitchhikers.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a lot more commonplace. But I got there and could only see her for 10 minutes. And because she was, in a program. She was in school. They had meetings and things she had to do. And I'm trying to talk her out of the place and she won't leave with me. And I think, oh, shit. So there I am wandering around Chicago out by the airport with $5 in my pocket and no place to sleep. The sun's going down. And so I'm walking past this field and I see...
What year is this?
73. And so I'm walking by this field and I see these cars. I'm thinking, I could go crash in one of those cars out in the field. They were abandoned cars. At least I'd have a roof over my head while I slept. But I went into a restaurant and bought a coffee. I had some change too. I bought, 25-cent coffee or whatever. And I was explaining this. I had gone to a hotel and tried to rent a storage room for $5, and they wouldn't do that. So at the coffee place, I'm telling the waitress, I said, I got a problem. I don't know where I'm going to stay. Are there any hostels or anything where I could crash or a place for homeless or whatever? And she said, no. I said, but I tell you what, for that $5, my daughter's boyfriend's going to come by. He'll pick you up, take you out to the airport. You can pretend you're waiting for a plane. I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. So I could sleep at the airport. And this is back before all the security and shit. I'd just go in and find a couple chairs and sleep.
Yeah.
And I'd be inside.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. And so this guy comes in this little Volkswagen, picks me up. And, we're both long-haired hippie kind of guys. And he's like, we're talking. And I'm being whoever he wants me to be. I'm being Mr. Friendly. You know what I mean? I'm hitchhiking. And I'm being as friendly as I can possibly be. And he said, do you smoke? I said, what do you mean? And because at that time I smoked everything. And he said, do you like smoke dope? I said, oh yeah. He said, do you want to get high? I said, sure. So he started smoking this dope and laughed and giggled about shit. And eventually he said, you want to go to a party? And I said, I'm not busy. Hell yeah, let's go to a party.
Suddenly my schedule has just opened up.
shit. Who knew? And he handed me $5 back. I thought, well, he's good. No, dude, let's just hang out. Go to this party. You're cool. I said,
and?
Right. I get to this party, and all these kids are sitting around on the floor. They're all like, I don't know, they're all like 18 to 25, sitting in a big circle on the floor smoking dope. And they got like 3 joints going in a circle, and there's like about 16 of them. And I sit down in a circle, and I'm trying to be accommodating, so I'm smoking the dope too, even though I'm way too fucking high. Should not be smoking dope. And this girl sitting next to me, oh, first I should tell you, I'm kind of freaking out because all...
Is this like a mouthful of Uncle Gold high, or is this higher?
This is a stoned high.
Oh, okay.
It's like, holy shit, what's going on here? But I'm noticing that all the girls are dark complected with dark hair. Mm-hmm. They all look Syrian or something, and all the guys are different. So, you know, when you're high, your brain just kind of, I'm going, this is weird. All the guys are different. They're Freddy guys. All the girls are the same. I wonder if they're all related to all the same country. What, you know, I'm doing this, and this girl next to me, kind of cute, elbows me and says, hey. And I said, yeah. She said, you're afraid of me, aren't you? I said, what? She said, I can tell you're afraid of me. I said, no, I'm really not afraid of you. You know, I'm thinking I'm from fucking Flint. I'm not afraid of some chick. It's sitting up party stone. I'm okay. I'm good. I just hitchhiked here. She said, I know what your story is, but I can tell you're afraid of me. And so I kind of end that conversation. I'm like, that's kind of
I would have said, look, honey, I will take you back to my airport.
I know a car we can get.
And I will lay you down on a bench seat.
And then one of the girls on the other side of the room, swear to God, this is a true story, stands up and says, let's all go in the bedroom.
Orgy, 1973. It makes perfect sense. A bunch of untrimmed bush.
You betcha. So I jump right up because I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever it is, I'm going to have a good place for it. I'm going to find kind of the focal point of the room. And sure enough, I get in there, there's a water bed. I take my position, kind of half lounging on the waterbed, you know, on elbow, laying down kind of thing. And they're lighting the incense and lighting the candles and putting on in a Gata de Vida. I don't know what they're putting on, Sgt. Pepper or something. They're Moody Blues. Who knows? They're putting on whatever
25
music.
or 64 Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. They're putting on the music and everybody's coming in getting positions and whatever. And the water, more people are hopping on the waterbed, and it's kind of starting to go up and down, and I'm kind of relaxed. Next thing you know, it's morning. I'm waking up. I'm the only person in the room.
You didn't even have to go to the airport. And you got your $5 back.
I'm like, what the hell?
That's a great story.
Yeah, well, and then I think, I don't know how this happened, but people were kind of trusting, and they met me, and I guess they thought it was okay. I don't have no freaking clue. I didn't remember anything. So I stood up and walked out in the main room. I'm like, hello. Nobody's in the living room. Nobody's in the kitchen. So I'll go, okay. So I jump in the shower, take a shower, wash my hair, use a blow dryer. I'm getting ready for the day. I got to hitchhike back home. So, and then I noticed there's one door I hadn't opened, and it was kind of jammed in the corner where it looked like it was going to be a closet door or something. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of popped the door open, and here's a girl sitting in bed naked, only covered up to her waist with a sheet, reading. And I pop in the room. I'm like, oh, I'm really, really sorry. And so I go out. She goes, oh, that's okay. Come on in. And so I go back in the room. And then after a while, I ask her how to get back to Flint.
Oh.
And she says...
You had quality time with her.
She said... Where's Flint? And I said, it's in Michigan. She said, oh, go out to the expressway and, don't hitchhike on the ramps. Don't get down on because you get a ticket. But if you stay up on the service areas, where they have the gas stations and stuff, you'll be fine. So I get up there and I put up my sign and, one side said Chicago and I can't use that. The other side said please. And so I hold up my please sign and sure enough, this really cute girl picks me up in her car and she says, I really like the fact you have your please sign, for hitchhiking. Does that work? And I said, so far, it seems like it's working pretty good.
That's awesome. So how far did she take you?
I don't remember, but eventually I made it back to Kalamazoo and stopped for the night because I had some friends that lived in Kalamazoo. So I stayed the night there and told them the story of what had happened. But I had my $5.
That's great.
Yeah, my first trip to Chicago.
What a
Actually, I thought about
adventure.
making a bit out of that story, and then a bunch of jokes. And
You could write a book on that story.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the problem I always had with stand-up comedy. I look like a fairly normal person. I look like a pretty run-of-the-mill old white guy that's came out of a normal business. But my life is filled with weird adventures. I mean, that is very typical of things that I would do or I have done that are just not ordinary. Mm-hmm. But when I tell them on stage, it's like people don't believe me. I mean, I really was on Black People Meet. I really met a white girl on Black People Meet. I say that and people think I'm making that shit up. I really had a deaf girlfriend, so I really did get on disabilitydating.com. I mean, that's a real thing. These are real things. This is really my life, but I don't look like it. So I always felt that my comedy was challenged because I'm unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's when you just keep doing it. You just keep
That's
doing
why I
it.
quit, dude.
You keep doing it to go either with that or past that or create something else. It's like I know with my comedy, it's not done yet. I know I'm in an area of kind of funny and a little uncomfortable. That's what people see when they watch me. It's like,
yeah,
ooh, that was weird. Do you believe he just did that?
Yeah,
that was weird. But it was
like
funny.
wearing a lady's thong and showing that on stage. I thought that was a little weird.
I think it was funny. It was kind of weird. I feel weird. And that's where I'm pretty sure that part of my comedy will probably always be there.
Yeah.
And that's the part of me that sort of like I don't care if people like it or not. If they
Is that because you do weird things in your normal life, or is that just you think weird things are funny?
A little of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's evolving.
Yeah. Now, do you ever do crowd work?
Sometimes, not much. I haven't gone there because I want to become a good enough comedian to be able to do crowd work. And I think I can, and I have done it. I've had some exchanges with people.
Have you had a heckler?
Not too many. No.
Yeah.
No, I guess I've entertained them enough to make them not want to heckle me.
Yeah, but sometimes they want to join in.
Yeah.
There's a weird thing about stand-up comedy. I mean, if any adult goes to a high school play, they don't start yelling lines out at the people on stage.
No.
A live performance. But if you do stand-up comedy well, it feels very conversational.
Yeah.
And people feel like adding to the show, kind of like when I was back in history class, sometimes I used to tag my teachers. They'd say something and I'd yell out a little funny quip about something they were saying and everybody would laugh. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the experience that most people have. That if you think of something funny, it's okay to add it because everybody will think that's funny and you're kind of helping the show.
Yeah, and then you also have to weigh in the factor of where is the show? Is it in a bar that people weren't expecting a comedy show? Then you're going to get the heckler that's looking at the mirror and maybe catching you and saying things.
Yeah.
But then occasionally there'll be the heckler that paid to get in and he just wants to be part of it. Ben Bailey do you know who he is? Yeah. The host of Cash Cab?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite. I love his thing about the filling out a job application.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He was in Bay City 3 years.
If he ever comes again, let me know. I will. He's one of my favorites.
I have 2 pictures of me and Ben in my phone. I'll show you. Oh,
really? I'm so jealous. He's tall, isn't he?
Yeah, very tall. The second show that I saw him, he dealt most of the night with this guy older than you.
That's old.
That was just talking over. Oh yeah, like this. And Ben would address him and say, "Yeah, I need you to be quiet because I got a show to do and all these people paid." Oh yeah, oh yeah, sure you do. Yep. It was just.
Did they ask him to leave eventually?
No. He wound up a good bit of the night dealing with this guy. Squatted
why
down.
did Ben ask him to leave or ask the people to walk?
Yeah, he was right near the end of the show. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Yeah.
And then he did finally quiet down, but he pretty much ruined the show.
Yeah.
Because he took away from a lot of what Ben had laid out. I wound up having really good conversation with him after that.
Really?
About comedy. And
what did he say? What did he say of value?
We just talked about the life of comedy, about doing shows, about being on TV and still touring. And it was just cool. As far as nuggets, he didn't give me any nuggets that I walked away with, other than we had a good time chatting. And then I gave him a connective connection to one of his jokes for a tag about getting pooped on. And did he like it, or do you think he pretended he liked it? Oh, no, he liked it because he does a big bird piece about cutting through a guy's lawn. Yeah. And I said, well, you could connect this other story to that. He said, oh, that's a good idea. I could turn that into probably 7 minutes. And I said, yeah, it completely ties in those two stories. Yeah. Legitimately. Because I don't give tags without thinking about it first, because I don't want somebody to think I'm an asshole. Yeah. Isn't
that funny that helping other comics is considered a negative thing?
It can be. But if they already have the tag, they just haven't connected it yet, then it's theirs. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's like I had one comic, I said, I got a great tag for you. He says, I don't want to hear it. I don't do other people's material. I said, it's not my material. It's just pointing something out that's yours already. Yeah. And he says, I can't. I said, well, give me $5 then. He says, no, I don't pay for material either.
I remember when I was in one of my comedy classes, and we were all brand new, and we were watching each other perform for the very first time. And after each comic, the teacher would say, how about this? How about that? And we as fellow students were chiming in saying, yeah, I think that part was good. You could also do this. So we're kind of helping. Mm-hmm. And that became the habit. And after about 3 classes of that, I remember the instructor going, comics don't do this. Comics don't tell other comics tags and jokes and where to go or whatever.
Probably 6 out of 10 times that I give a tag, they'll take out a pen and write it down. Yeah. Because I'm not messing around when I give tags.
Where's my tag? I want to know. You got a tag for me? For Finder, Chatter, Caller?
I don't.
No? You don't remember my bit.
No, you nail that. That thing's... that's a gauntlet of a joke. I know. I was like, I can't touch that one.
Yeah, you know what? That's one of my few jokes people have actually offered to buy for me.
Yeah, that's like... It's not just a joke, it's a tongue twister, repeated tongue twister, and it's like...
Yeah.
That's...
Wait, I don't know if you noticed this, but I do a lot of that kind of thing.
The closest thing I come to a tongue twister is... It's fun for me to carry a portable, prosthetic, post-apocalyptic, prehistoric, petrified pussy packed in plastic in my pocket.
Oh, that's pretty good, dude.
Thanks. That's to my old banana.
Yeah.
Joke.
Do you think I sound old radio-ish?
Kind of.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
Hey, here we go. Thanks. You know, that kind of thing. But I write that off to the fact that my inner voice is like that.
Yeah.
That's how I see life.
Well, you're from up north. You're from up north. You're a Yankee for sure. You're one of the Midwesterners.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. So comedy. How you got into comedy and radio. Do you have any other interesting jobs? Well, what are you doing now? I don't even know what you're doing now.
I work at a brain injury facility called Lighthouse. Could
you do comedy about anything about that job?
Yeah, I have. I've done some. I mean, I've had some jokes. Like this one guy, I would go pick him up. I'd pick up another guy, and then we would go back to the Lighthouse. And you generally take the same trip every time, but I altered my trip.
Yeah.
And the one guy in the back seat, he said to the other guy, I hate this way. The other guy's like, whatever. A couple minutes later, he leans back over and he says, I'm going to kill Mitch. The other guy says, now? No, I know a way to do it where nobody else will get hurt. So we get to our destination, and the other guy comes to me. He says, hey,
by the way,
he said he's going to kill you. So I told the psychologist, and he did not kill me. So
what did the psychologist say? Did he say he says stuff like that all the time?
He just addressed it, and it just turned out that he didn't like the way I drove in. But I just thought that
he didn't like your driving, and so his solution was
he
to
didn't
kill
like
you.
my selection of roads. And there's another guy.
Definitely death worthy.
Yeah. And
how dare you take me down this road?
Yeah, the guy that he's talking to, I was driving with him another time, and he says, hey, Mitch, there's a tampon. Why don't you go buy it? I'm like, what? He said, you wanted to buy one a couple of years ago. I said, do you mean a pontoon? He says, oh, yeah, not a tampon. That'd be stupid.
He was dyslexic.
Yeah. I said, yeah, that because that would suck as a boat. That would just like absorb the whole
water.
lake.
Yeah, it's like I'd sink. Oh,
so
that's funny. That does kind of go together. How in the world would you understood? How in the world did you understand that he meant a pontoon from a
pontoon tampon? And I don't know.
God, that's pretty good, dude. I would have figured that out 2 years later. God.
It's not that great a joke. I just tucked that one away for later.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So I guess you can make fun of what happens
of
at
the
work.
brain injured. Yeah.
Yes.
Not making fun of the brain injured. I did say to my old boss, the guy that used to own the place, I told him years ago, I said, I really like my job. I said, I also do stand-up comedy, which is nice because I could tell the exact same jokes every single day. And they laugh every time. And he just looked at me with a serious face. He said, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay.
You can do comedy, at those places for those people.
I do. I'll test out material and...
Will they laugh?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they laugh, and some have lost that connection to humor, really. Ted painted a very cool picture. You're a fine artist, by the way.
Oh, I don't know that I'm fine,
you're really good.
Oh, I don't know about that. My grandmother was really good.
Yeah.
She was actually known for her art, and actually I've got a couple pieces in the living room that she did. And when she died, they actually, down at the Institute of Arts, kind of have a little homage to her and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so she was big in art, and both my parents painted in oils, and my sister was an art school teacher, and my other sister majored in art at U of M. I wanted to go into art too, but I didn't think there was any money in it, and there really isn't. So.
Yeah, it's a tough gig, man.
Yeah, but a lot of art, a lot of music, a lot of that right brain stuff. I play piano by ear, and that's just kind of who I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Do you do art?
I do comedy, and I think that is definitely...
Oh, yeah, that is.
That is definitely art. And I like to think that my production, when I had my podcast...
Yeah.
Some of those finished items I thought were... When they were enough to make me listen to it and go, what? I did that?
Yeah.
I can't believe that sounds
That's
as
good.
Smooth as it is that I did that these two voices can be talking to each other through the art of production and editing.
That's a lot of work though.
It is. But then to have the wherewithal to be able to have the comeback and to make it all smooth. And like back when I was in radio and I would do commercials and I'd record a commercial and then I'd be home, working around the house. I'd be listening to the station and I'd hear when my commercials come out, I go, holy shit, that's really good.
Yeah.
I can't tell that from any other commercial on the radio. Yeah. Then I would think, that's art.
Yeah. I think so too.
I was good enough to create that. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you can look at something or hear something and wonder who did that, and then you think it's you.
Yeah.
Then that falls into an art.
How do you write your comedy? Is there a special time of day or a special way that you write comedy, or when things come to you? Or
Tony and I would get together to for the podcast for Mitch's Fake Radio, and and I would have to come up with an idea for Wobbert, my unpaid intern.
Right.
I didn't even know what the hell I was going to do. And then something would bubble to the surface. But for my comedy, my stand-up, it's like looking at your tattoo. I saw that and I didn't know what it said to begin with. And then I thought, I'm going to have a tattoo put on my forearm that's going to say, "The fuck you looking at?" And that way, if somebody would see that tattoo and go, "What's your tattoo?" And I, "Oh, everybody asked me that." And then they would read it and say, "That's it." And it's like, but before I'm done here, I will write that down in my joke book, because whatever happens, whatever I think of, whatever I see, some sort of premise gets jotted down into my comic book, as I call it. I'll show it to you. It's right here.
You keep it with you in your pockets?
I carry it with me everywhere I go. And today comics carry their phone, and so this is my third book since
I saw the word "fuck" really big on one of those pages.
Oh yeah, you probably did. But this is my third book that I'm working on since COVID, the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I've written a lot of COVID jokes.
I think that's great.
And some that are not so. Here's one. This is not COVID, but the ambulance service in Caro.
Yeah.
MMR. I figured out what MMR stands for. It's medical emergency response. Medical emergency response.
I think you got to. Yeah, I think you got to put a group, ethnic, or class, or a group of people to that before you say that.
You think so?
Yeah, it's run by the drunks or something. It's run by the town drunk, and it's medical emergency or whatever.
Medical emergency.
I think if you group it before you say that, I think that.
Yeah, maybe I can twist the Amish into there.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You know what? When I was a salesman on the road, I used to write down funny things that happened to me, just because
Did any of that ever get into your act?
Well, those 3 books you see on the far right up on the bookshelf, that's all filled with what I wrote when I was on the road. Looking back at it now that I've done professional comedy for a number of years, that's not so funny.
Oh, yeah. I have jokes that I wrote in high school, because I've been a closet stand-up comic my whole life. I mean, I used to write material, and I'd be on.
Do you remember your first decent joke you wrote before you were a comic that you used to was go-to for you?
Yes. Which half of this joke is a street joke, and the other half is me.
Yeah.
And there's a Russian urologist.
Yeah.
It's Vladimir Get Your Rocks Off. You've probably heard of him. He's in a dual business with another guy who's a Russian proctologist, and that's Dr. Vladimir. No, wait. Dr. Shitsmear Wipe Mine Off.
Oh, God.
So Shitsmear Wipe Mine Off. That was. Yeah, that was mine from when I was like, I don't know, 12 years old or something.
That's great. The one that I've used always. I mean, I've used this for years and years and years, because I've always looked young for my age. I mean, when I was 30, I looked like I was 20. When I was 50, I looked like I was 35. I mean, whatever. It just runs in the family. Doesn't mean I'm going to.
Because right now you look like 20 and 35, so you look about 55 at 68. So you look really good. It's pretty fast math for an old guy.
Stand further away, I'll look even better.
Yeah.
Take off your glasses.
You look like the painting.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always been when people say, you look great for your age, the retort always was, you haven't seen me naked.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I've said that for years. I've said that for 30 years.
That might be a Henny Youngman joke.
I don't think so.
No?
No. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I've said it forever.
Yeah. It's a good joke.
I'm not even look it up. Now I feel bad, man.
Well, I think that honest to God, I think it is an old one.
Oh, don't tell me that, because I don't want to. It's in all my bits. I don't want to have to change that. It's a setup for something else. God, you know what Billy Reno used to do when we were on the road, And I'd come up with a bit, and I'd go, oh, this would be funny, and this, and I'd say, and he'd go, you know who does a bit just like that, this and that, and he'd start doing their bit and tell me all the jokes. I'm like, don't tell me all that stuff. Now you're telling me the best possible version of it that I can't do. All my creativity is, but honestly, go, you know who does that? And I'm like, what? No.
It's
I don't want
tough.
to. You got to not watch comedy when you're writing comedy.
Absolutely. I totally, but then again, it's weird for me. I can watch a comedy special and I can be taking notes the whole time because they're spurring me off into other jokes that have nothing to do with that subject, but it just makes me write.
Yeah.
You know, I've written a lot of jokes watching a special.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I write my comedy naked. And that is, I really do.
That takes balls.
I take,
and they're right there in your lap the whole time.
I take off all my clothes, and that's how I write. I write comedy when I wake up in the morning before I get out of bed. I've always been very slow to wake up, and I always wake up and lay in bed for at least 20 minutes before I get up. Sometimes hour and a half. Wow. And I'm in the state of not really awake. I'm kind of in this Zen state. Mm-hmm. And that's when all my best ideas come to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And also, I tend to stay up late at night. I'm really not a daytime person. I can take a nap in the afternoon for 4 hours, but I will stay up till 1, 2, 3, even 4 o'clock sometimes. Mm-hmm. But when I'm really tired late at night, I go to bed just because I'm thinking, oh, I'm tired. I should probably go to bed. Mm-hmm. But it's not like I'm falling asleep. And I will stop and start playing piano. And that's when I write my best piano music too.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's like I believe that somewhere between being awake and being asleep, there's this level you get to which disregards all the immediacy of all the crazy things that are going on in your life and reviewing yesterday and projecting the future. And you're just kind of in the moment and very aware of what is here and now. Mm-hmm. You're present. And when you're present, it's easier
very vulnerable to creativity.
Yeah. I think that's when you're the most creative, when you get into that Zen moment. And that is, it's not like you're asleep. It's not like you're sleepy, falling asleep. It's more like you're a more alert in a very relaxed state.
Yeah. I cannot really sit down to write. I've tried it and I can't. And it's even when writing for my podcast, I couldn't sit down to write. I would have to spur onto an idea, make a note.
Yeah.
Then I could spin off of that.
Yeah.
It's like a starter yeast for a loaf of bread.
Yeah. My wife used to
carry it around in a bag, and
right.
and then yeah, that's bad. It's infectious. But anyhow, I would have to start with something, then it could grow.
Yeah.
But as far as like writing material, it's usually whatever happens. If it's a spur in the middle of my workday while I'm at the brain injury facility, I will get out my book and I'll write that down.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn to the person and I'll say, thanks, you just gave me a joke.
Right.
And then they'll say, what do you mean? And then I'll tell them. And if they laugh, then I've said, see, I told you.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I'm going to quit telling jokes. If I ever go back to it, I'm going to be more of a storyteller because I have so many weird stories and I've done so many weird things. And I don't know that it'll be that funny, but hopefully it'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, I have this tendency to take a different perspective to things. Do you remember the chat rooms back in the day where you would get on and it would just be your name and what you typed in and it would scroll down? There'd be 20 different people writing things. It was early days of the internet and I think they're called chat rooms.
Yeah.
And I remember going into the chat rooms and thinking, this is fun. I'll get to talk to all these weird people. And back when I was growing up, we used to have this thing where you could call a certain phone number, get a busy signal, and yell in between the busy signal would be random people yelling. And eventually you'd yell out your phone number and you could call up this random teenage girl and you would meet this way. It was called Pipeline. So I saw this chat room as the same thing, that we're all just saying random things and you'll strike up a conversation with one of the people in the room and maybe you'll end up going off and you could go to a separate room and have a private conversation as an offshoot of this. Well, I went on this thing and I went on, you had to pick a name and I'm like Ted. So I was like Ted 42 or whatever it was. And I went on and I'm like, hi room. what's going on in the room? And nobody's talking to me. And so I try to join in conversations and they're like ignoring me and stuff. And so I tried really hard because I like meeting people and talking about stuff. And I couldn't get anybody to respond to me. And I got frustrated after trying this for a couple of days. So I went away and I thought, I don't know why no one will talk to me. But I did know who I wanted to talk to. I wanted to talk to Sugar Britches 43. And I wanted to talk to Sweet Susan or the Pink Lady. I mean, it was because of their name.
Yeah.
I thought it's all about the name. Your popularity is going to be based on what kind of name you go in with.
So if your name was Open Checkbook.
More. So I came up with what I thought was a great name, and it brought me great popularity in the chat rooms.
What was the name?
The name was, and this is no lie, I was Ramon de Lovebuck.
Raymond de Lovebuck. That's great.
And I talk with the French accent. I was a male exotic dancer, Raymond de Lovebuck.
How do you type that?
I know that was the problem. That you wrote Raymond de Lovebuck, but you had to speak in a way that had an accent
in that dialect.
Yes. And so I'm a bad speller to start with. So now I'm having to speak with this French accent. French, Frunche accent. You know what I mean? So I'm spelling all these words weird and trying to.
Jewli.
Yeah.
T-O.
Yeah.
C-U-M.
Yeah.
Eat.
And I'm like, any Asian chicks want to chat, S-C-H-A-T, with Raymond?
With W-I-T, me?
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing that. But I tell you what, I am so freaking popular. All the girls want to chat with Raymond. So I've got like 4 conversations going in there, and they're ignoring the other guys.
If you don't like me, maybe you would like my brother, Herbie. Herbie de Lovebuck.
And the guys are so mad, they're like, this asshole can't even spell. And they're going, no, that's Raymond. He speaks with the accent. So they're standing up for me. Well, it got so bad. Every time I went in, I just have to say, hilarious. Oh, 'tis I, Raymond. And I talked about myself in third person, too. Yeah. This whole character I come up with. And it got so bad, I couldn't keep up with it. It was just maddening trying to respond to all these people. And then they thought this response was for them. And so finally I quit. I said, enough. Yeah. I can't do this.
No dates?
No. I was married.
Oh, and they were all in New Mexico, and
yeah, it was all guys pretending to be girls.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea what it was.
Super fat dudes,
but
pretending to be girls.
I thought strategically, figure out, okay, this isn't working. What will work? Mm-hmm. And that was the secret sauce. Just had to catfish them, and then everybody went
catfish. Boy, that thing's taken off, huh? On MTV. Yeah. I'm so mad when Ridiculousness isn't on, and I have to watch Catfish.
Yeah.
Hate that.
I've been on dating sites where I got catfished, and apparently they didn't even know they were catfishing me. And I'm like, you don't look anything like your picture. No. You look like you ate the girl in your picture 3 years ago. When did your hair fall out?
It's so much work.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? I did all those jokes about dating sites because I've been on all of them. Honestly, I was on up to 20 at one time.
Oh, my God. It's so much maintenance.
I was on every single one, dude. Every single dating site you can imagine I was on. I was even on Beautiful People, where you have to submit a picture, and they vote whether you're pretty enough to be on the site. And honestly, it's 48 hours or something. They vote you in or vote you out.
And they're like, I don't think I'm going to vote for Raymond de Lovebuck.
You know what? I got voted in, and I was the oldest and ugliest person on Beautiful People. So I was the dorky person that nobody wanted to talk to at the dance. These were all runway models and, L.A. dudes and all these slick people. I mean, honestly, they were models. They were like beautiful, beautiful people.
And 80% of them were catfishing.
No.
Yeah.
No. They had to put up multiple pictures, dude. I mean, this is who they were. So in any case, I never met anybody off Beautiful People. I was not beautiful enough. There's got to be somebody.
How many of your friends are couples because of the internet? I have two.
Dude, I only have about
couples.
3 friends.
I have 2 successful male, female married couples that both found each other online.
That's the only way you can do it. There's no other way to do it anymore.
Yeah, this has been 10 and 12 years.
Yeah, what else you gonna do? Am I going to go out to a bar and just say hi to women as they walk by?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, you could meet him if you belong to a church group or something. Mm-hmm. I'm not that religious, you know. I mean, what am I going to start going to bingo and then work my way over to sit next to the cute girl at bingo? I mean, but the problem is that most people are married or in a relationship.
Yeah.
So you want to find an environment where people are single and looking. And the only way you're going to do that is to go on dating sites.
Yeah. I
mean, I sit out at the same bar all day, every week, and there's going to be, maybe 25% of the people that are going to be over 50 and single. But out of that 25%, most of them are with dates. Or most of them are dating somebody steadily. There's only going to be 2 available, and you aren't going to know which 2 they are, and they're with their girlfriends at night. And it's just almost impossible.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's
not like when you're single and when you're young.
As I age, it's not that important to me anymore. It's just not. This woman I'm having lunches with, great. I love it.
What do you call a lunch?
We just have lunch.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know if there was a hidden meaning to that.
No hidden meaning. Sometimes we'll bring our own. Sometimes I'll bring enough for her.
Do you kiss her hello?
No.
Do you kiss her goodbye?
No.
Would you like to?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Would
you like to share a bathtub with her?
We were like getting rolling, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And since then we had 2 brief hellos, and then we did have lunch.
How many times have you met her for lunch?
Oh gosh, probably 8 times.
Oh, that's too many, dude. You got to advance the.
But you have to equate in a pandemic.
Do 8. You can't do 8.
You have to put a pandemic in there.
Yeah, but you can't do 8 times and not make a move.
Well, nice and very sweet and professional, and I don't want to be pushy.
8 times? No, you got to make a move. 8 times you got to make a move. Yeah, you got to make a move after 4 times. After actually 3rd time, you shouldn't go out with a woman for more than 3 times without kissing her. So I've had girls on meet and greets, first time want to kiss on the first time, want to make out with you, first time. I mean, you got to go, whoa. If you take them out, meet and greet is just howdy, how you doing? Then you take them out on a date, so they're going to expect a good night kiss, at least. 3rd date, if you aren't kissing them on the 3rd date, they're thinking there's something wrong with you.
Well, it was right there when the right in that area when the pandemic hit.
On the 8th date. Dude, that's 5 days later.
I just threw 8 out there. It probably wasn't. It probably wasn't 8. It was probably more like 5 or 6.
Well, let's see. I had pastrami, then we had that turkey sandwich, then we went out and had the club.
A dating counseling session from Mitch.
Oh, well, God, I'm not doing any better than you are.
Yeah, well, I
don't have a girl either.
I am not worried about dating because I just...
I usually ask for dating advice. If you have any you want to lend me, I'd appreciate it.
I don't have 1 iota of dating advice.
Men have no idea what the hell they're doing. Okay, that's going to be our show for the day. Thanks for tuning in, and a special thanks to Mr. Mitch Gill for making it such a good one. We have part 3 with Mitch coming up, so stay tuned for that. And once again, you can follow me on Instagram at TedTalksTooMuch. Send me an email at tedtalkstoomuch@yahoo.com. And also, you can see all my show at tedtalkstoomuch.com. So if you can remember all that, you can get in touch with me and do me a favor. Help me out. Share this show. And until next time, you guys be good out there. Try to be kind to each other. Try to be happy. And like I always say, I'm Ted Moss, and those are my thoughts.